Let's take a look at the president briefing the media and the country. These have been watched by millions and millions of people, more now than ever before, because so many of us are home and we've got the time. Interesting thing, though, some folks in very powerful positions in the media are saying these briefings should not be carried on television anymore. They accuse the president of spreading lies. And it prompted my next guest, one of them, to tweet this, which I think is totally brilliant. Put it on the screen, please. This is from Adam Guillette. He is the president of Accuracy in Media. We now live in a world where the media treats teenager Greta Thunberg like the most important scientist of our time, but they suggest we block Dr. Anthony Fauci's briefings during a global pandemic. This is beyond media bias. It's truly lunacy. Adam joins us now, as does Eddie Scarry from the Washington Examiner. Eddie made an interesting point as well. He says that these briefings are worthless for a couple of other reasons. Number one, the questions are, after the first two or three, pretty much useless, and they may be exposing themselves to risk. Welcome to you both, gentlemen. I think they are both fascinating observations, and I kind of agree with both, even though they they don't necessarily agree. First to you, Adam, make the case, though. Lunacy, not just bias, but it's lunacy that the press is exhibiting these days.
Well, the media had no problems at all with any of the Trump briefings until his poll numbers rose dramatically. Then all of a sudden, the briefings became problematic. They didn't like Trump getting the message directly to the people. They had to speak out against him. And we've seen news stations now say they don't even want to cover him.
That is bizarre. I think it's because he is having an impact, a positive one, and we do have greater time to watch these things. Eddie, at the same time, you see them as kind of useless, but for a different reason.
Well, it's not that they themselves are useless. No, I think they're very useful, and I think he should be doing more interviews, on-camera interviews. All of that's great, I think, but the utility kind of wears out when you get to the third hour of the press briefing and they're asking questions like, do you think that tone is appropriate? Do you think calling it the Chinese virus is appropriate? Do you think it's okay to talk to a journalist the way that you did when he had that clash with the NBC reporter? When you get to that point, I think we've kind of moved past the point where we're talking about saving lives, and then we're just talking about niggling little things with the media and political correctness, what you can call the virus. And yes, I do think that's very, very useless.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. And Yeah, no, I think you're onto something. Gentlemen, look, let's face it. Media bias has been around for a long time. I have it. You probably have it, too. We try to be overt about it on this show. I lean right. I support the president. Sometimes he does stuff that drives me crazy, but generally speaking, I support him and I like him. Are there any techniques or technologies or new tactics the media should start thinking about adopting, because these problems seem to just be getting worse? First to you, Adam.
Well, the problems are getting worse because our media landscape is so dramatically fragmented. And folks like the New York Times and CBS, they've realized that there's a rabid base of anti-Trump people who are hungry for anti-Trump content. So that's why we get an hour of negative questions that sound like, a nagging ex-wife just badgering you endlessly, trying to make you look bad, because that's what their viewers, that's what the readers are looking for. So it's entirely ridiculous that they go on so long with those ridiculous questions. He's right. But the problem isn't with Trump. The problem is that we don't have an accurate, honest media probing, asking the questions that honest journalists would ask. Instead, we've got people looking for fan fiction, essentially, so they can please their rabid anti-Trump audience.
Adam, Eddie, appreciate it so much. Sorry we went long with the stimulus. We'll have you back real soon. Lots to talk about in today's media landscape. Have a great weekend. Although it doesn't feel like the weekend, we'll be right back with some further thoughts on how President Trump is handling this entire situation. Stay with us.